What's up everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel at Danny Abroad. Well, today I'm going to be talking about the most common questions and weird questions that we'll be getting from Indians, especially from the Indian youth and the old Indians. I mean like those old people from 35 to above, something like that. So let me not waste any time and dive into the video and compare these questions for you and which questions are weird to me and which questions are normal for people to ask you that you'll be expecting from Indians. Well, the first question that you get from Indians that they will ask you where you come from, and of course there is nothing weird about this question, but it's the most common question that they will ask you. Most people, because they know that foreigners don't know English, they'll ask you konse, and which is fine. Konse meaning that they're simplifying the Hindi for you and they're asking you where, like konse, where do you come from, something like that, and you just have to say where I come from and you'll be fine. And the second question that you mostly get from people, especially the Indian youth, is they'll ask you how old you are. It doesn't matter how old the Indian youth or like how old they are, like young kids, same age mates and other people, they mostly ask you how old you are because they want to know, and most of the times you tell them, they'll be amazed because sometimes they have these kind of ridiculous predictions about your age, and sometimes you prove them wrong by telling them how old you are and they become surprised, be like, wow, you're that old or you're that young, really. And most of the times they can't believe how old you are when you tell them. But most old people are not likely to ask you that question. They are likely to figure it out themselves by doing some rough estimates. Yeah, but it's a bit weird, someone asking you how old you are, because to me it seems like kind of personal information, especially if you're meeting that person for the first time. And the third question is, most people, they'll ask you what you're doing in this country. Of course, there is nothing weird about that, to clarify. And you're likely to get this question from everyone, all age groups, old and young. And most of the times you just have to answer them where you come from. Where I studied from. You tell them your university, then they'll ask you the course you're doing. Yeah, and that's it. Which of course there is nothing weird about that. And then it starts getting interesting. They'll ask you whether you're in a scholarship by the government or whether it's a personal pay by your parents. And of course, that's a little weird. Let me tell you why. Because if you tell them that it's your parents, they'll be like surprised. They'll be like, wow, you're so rich. You're coming from a rich family. Yeah, and then it gets weird and they ask you, why did you come to India? Why didn't you go to Canada? Something like that. And then that's what makes it weird. Because like, man, I just came here to India because I wanted to explore and discover, learn about the Indian culture or something, but they won't believe you. Like, they'll be surprised that you came study here. And this question, you're likely to get it from everyone, especially the Indian youth. And if an old person asks you whether you're on a scholarship or personal pay, of course they won't dive into the weirdness of it, make it like, oh, you're so rich or something like that. No, they won't do that. Credit the Indian old people for being mature. Another weird question that they will ask you, if you tell them your parents are the ones who pay for you, they will ask you how much you pay for your fees per year. Well, it's a bit personal because it makes me uncomfortable telling someone how much I pay per year. But well, the thing is, for most foreigners, according to our culture, it's very hard for someone to disclose their personal funds. And well, basically it's generally weird. I know to Indians there is nothing weird about that and it's okay, I understand. But when you're just coming here to India, it's kind of weird, someone asking you how much you pay for your fees. And then another weird question that you're likely to get is from the Indian youth. They'll ask you how much you get for pocket money per month. I don't know why they ask this question, but it's so weird, someone asking you how much you get for your pocket money per month. Well, I would understand asking me how much I pay for my fees per year, but pocket money, seriously? Do you want to? Well, okay. Seriously? Well, I don't understand why they ask this question. I've never figured it out. And I don't think I can ask anyone such a question because I've never asked any of my friends how much they get for their pocket money from their parents per week or per day or per month. It's so weird, please. Just don't ask this question. I don't know. And of course, I know amongst Indians, these are the common questions that they ask amongst even each other. But for a foreigner, when you just come here into this culture, you find it weird. Someone asking you how much you get for your pocket money per month. But this question will not get it from old people because they are not interested in your own personal pocket money funds. And just as you think that it can't get more weird, some people will ask you whether you smoke or if you take alcohol. And of course, I know being black, that doesn't mean that people are having these common misconceptions or stereotypes about black people being smokers or something. That's not it. That's not why I'm picking up this question. The only thing that why I'm saying it's weird is because someone who is asking you this for the first time, it kind of feels weird. You know, there is something weird about that question. But it has nothing to do with whether you're black and the stereotypes upon blacks. No. Because most Indians do smoke, and I guess most of them they just want to find out if you do smoke, especially the youth, so that they can know if you can be a smoking buddy or a drinking buddy or something like that, if you were to be friends after that conversation. So black people or African people just don't feel bad about that question. But even though it's weird, someone asking you that for the first time, but just don't feel bad. And for the old people, they won't ask you this question. If someone has like a packet of cigarettes, they are likely to give you a cigarette, and then they also smoke. But if you don't smoke, it's okay. And I live in Gujarat where alcohol is illegal, and from the old people, you are likely to find who, especially people who have illegal alcohol around in their houses, they are likely to give you some. And if you don't take alcohol, it's okay. They will be like, okay, fine. But they will just offer you some alcohol without asking, and they'll be like, it's illegal here, just be careful. And they'll tell you that they also having it illegally here, and if the police gets them, they can be arrested and something like that. But there is nothing bad about it, like because of the common misconceptions about blacks. Nope, nothing about that. It's just Indians are so friendly and like sharing, so they would want to know if they can share such things, because there is nothing bad about smoking, and most people do take alcohol here in Gujarat. In fact, you can be surprised that one of the dry states in India has a large amount of alcohol consumption. So you would be wondering where all this alcohol comes from and who takes this alcohol. Okay, this is a little bit weird. If you're a student, most Indians are going to ask you whether you do like Indian girls. Of course, I know, very weird, right? And if they are your classmates who are asking you, they will ask you which girl you like in their class, and they will try to tell you that they can help you talk to the girl, but don't fall for that. It's a trap. And if you say that you don't like any Indian girl, they will ask you whether you have a girlfriend back at home or here in India, something like that. And if you say that you don't have a girlfriend, then it gets more weird. They will ask you if you're gay or something, and then they will be like, it's ego here, blah blah, gay, so don't feel bad about that or be worried about it, like you keep it a secret, just tell them or something. However, I should clarify that no old person will ask you whether you like Indian girls or whether you have a girlfriend. Nope. This is mostly by the Indian youths. Another weird question is that they'll ask you if you're a virgin. And you know, very weird question, right? Of course, accompanied by that question, they'll ask you if you've had sex or something. Oh, very weird to ask someone for when you just met for the first time. Anyway, I want to answer that question and I won't get into the weirdness of it, but this question is not asked by, of course, same age mates, the Indian youths, and there is no old person who will ever ask you such question. And just as you think it can't get more weird, they'll ask you some, hard question. I will leave you to find out that question, which I'll write in the description box, because I don't want to talk about it because it's so weird for me to speak on camera. I can't even pronounce the word of it in that question. So guys, those are my most weird common questions that you get from Indians, some from the youths, most of them from the youths, and yeah, a little bit of few of them from the old people. And if you want to know about some of my personal information, I'll answer some of those questions that I've mentioned, the common questions, in the description box, and I'll write the most weird question that you like it to get from Indians in the description box. You can go there and check it out and read the most weird question. And if you are a foreigner and you've ever received such a question, just comment in the comment section and we'll chat more. And if you're an Indian and you agree to these questions that are most common amongst you asking foreigners, also comment in the description box and we have a chat. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Film Nenga.